The double champ does what the he wants.
All around is watching us, the Mexicans, and I feel proud about represent Mexico. Viva Mexico, cabrones!
Welcome to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
Spartans! What is your profession? Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
It's time!
New Day with SSJ is presented by Walker Medical Linen Services, locally owned and operated, and HLAC certified to the highest standards. Walker has partnerships with hospitals, surgery centers, and medical clinics in and around the metro area. Walker Medical Linen Services in Kansas City and online at walkermls.com.
Chiefs.
Really, all of them. When you look at it, we're playing so many young guys, and I want to see where we're at there. We didn't block and tackle very well with the second and third group, and both sides of the ball. And so I really want to give them more of an opportunity. Sometimes the ones get a lot of reps during camp practices, and let's get these guys some more reps here. And then, especially when we're getting ready to cut down, get a little better feel on those guys in a game situation. So I think this will be valuable for a lot of them. I can't tell you one position. I try to look at all of them and just see where we're at here.
The Kansas City Royals.
Oh, man.
You were right. What's he thinking? Add it to Hud's list. 3-0 Royals in the fourth inning. Junior to the middle, slides, stabs, throws him out. Whoa, one shortstop to the other. Don't hit it near him. Boy, to his left, he's valuable. And it's a fastball that's ripped up the left field line and down into the corner. Here's Vinny around third. And the relay is late. And Salvi just demolished that fastball. And look at how fired up he is.
So the batter now for the Angels is Mickey Moniak.
Line caught by Vinny. So Schreiber gets the save in his return from the injured list. Paul DeYoung had a big 2-run home run. Salvi drove in 3 runs.
Really sharp. Looked like he was using both sides of the plate really well. The spin looked like it was back, especially a couple of the slurves, or I don't know what they classify them all as, sweepers and curveballs and everything, but he was getting more swing and miss on that and locating on the corners too. Looked like he had some sink on the fastball as well.
I know he's a veteran guy, so bumps like last start maybe don't affect him as much as we'd think, but did you feel like he needed some sort of bounce back after being pretty frustrated last start?
I didn't give it too much extra thought. I mean, he's a human being, so he wants to do well. I know it didn't that weighed on his mind. I thought a lot about a couple of the outings where he's given up runs. Some of them, a lot of that's when I take him out, and then what happens after that, and so you give him the ball every 5th or 6th day, and he's been really good for us. So it's really hard to go through. He set the bar so high early, it's just not realistic to have a start like that every time out for 30-plus starts.
Good morning, Kansas City. This is New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's Tuesday, August 20th, 2024. Stephen St. John, Jake Gutierrez. We've got Nate Bukaty in studio for an hour, then Jamie Bluma in studio for an hour, and then Mark Borichter will call in. Annie Rogers from MLB.com to talk about the Royals at 8:30. And then Jeff Chadilla from NFL Network and NFL.com in studio in the 9 o'clock hour. And so a packed show for you. Today, as the Royals win again last night. They beat the Angels 5-3 out at Kauffman Stadium behind a very good start by Seth Lugo on his way to win number 14. He's 14-7 now with a 3.02 ERA. It was a big, big night for the Royals because they won. Seth Lugo won. Trade deadline acquisition, Paul DeYoung was 2 for 4 with another home run for the Royals. Home run number 21 for DeYoung. Salvador Perez had 3 ribbies, and so now he has 85 on the year. And again, Seth Lugo bouncing back from a really tough start. He goes 7 innings and gives up 4 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. Chris Bubich pitched an inning, gave up a run. And then John Schreiber, fresh off the IL, he was activated, and Carlos Hernandez was sent down. But John Schreiber gets saved number 2 because Lucas Erceg was unavailable after his stint on Sunday. So Schreiber goes an inning and gives up a hit. Only 8 pitches in his 9th inning appearance, and he gets his 2nd save of the year. And it was a big night last night for the Royals because they won, and so that's good. That's check mark number 1. And then also last night, the Houston Astros, in dramatic walk-off fashion, defeated the Boston Red Sox 5-4. The San Diego Padres defeated the Minnesota Twins 5-3. And so that's good. And the Los Angeles Dodgers shut out the Seattle Mariners 3-0. And so that's good. And the Cleveland Guardians did not play last night. And so what does that add up to? Oh, my goodness. Look at the standings this morning in the AL Central. Good God. Good Lord. Sweet Jesus. All of those religious things. Listen to me. The Royals have caught the Minnesota Twins 70-55. The Royals are 70-55, 15 games above 500. The Twins are 70-55. Both teams are 2.5 games behind Cleveland. Cleveland is 72-52. The Royals and the Twins both 70-55. 2.5 games out of first place. This race is on. Now for the wild card. Again, the Royals have caught the Twins for the 2nd wild card spot. The Royals are only 2.5 games behind the Baltimore Orioles for the number 1 wild card spot. And now, when you look at the gap between the Royals and the non-playoff teams, they have opened up a 4.5 game lead over the Boston Red Sox and a 6.5 game lead over the Seattle Mariners and a 7.5 game lead over Tampa. So right now, the Royals have a 4.5 game lead over the next team for that last wild card spot. But they're also tied with the Twins for the 2nd wild card spot. And they only have 2.5 games in front of them between them and the number 1 wild card spot and them and the number 1 spot in the AL Central. The Royals are closer to the number 1 seed in the American League than they are to the number 7 seed in the American League. The Royals have won 5 games in a row. The Royals are on fire right now at the right time. And yes, their schedule is going to kick up a notch coming up this weekend when Philadelphia is the opponent. But so what?
Yeah, how about that? The boys are playing some ball, huh?
They got to take care of business against the teams that are in front of them right now. And right now, the schedule is in their advantage. The other teams that they're battling in the American League are facing tougher competition, and the Royals need to take advantage of playing a bad LA Angels team that's 53-72. And what they did last night is they beat a team they were supposed to, and everything else fell in place. And right now, bookmark it again, Tuesday, August 20th. This is a great spot. I mean, can you believe this? After all the games the Royals lost last year, after some dips even this year, we're thinking, oh, no, now they're going to come back down to earth. It was a fun story. But now the Royals, they just don't have enough depth. The starting pitching is going to come back down to earth. The bullpen's going to betray them. There's not enough help in the lineup around Bobby Witt Jr. It's just too good to be true. Now they've won 5 in a row again. We're sitting on August 20th. They have a 4.5 game lead in the wild card, and they're only 2.5 games out of first place, and they caught the Minnesota Twins in the AL Central. And the Twins are battling multiple injuries. And so this is wild. I mean, again, like I said yesterday, buckle up, Kansas City. And I will also tell you that it's not insignificant that John Schreiber came off the IL and was able to get the save last night. We have seen how magnificent Lucas Erceg has been since they acquired him. He has yet to give up a run. He has yet to give up a walk in 9 1/3 innings, in 8 appearances. He has been 12 strikeouts, no walks. He is a stud. He is the Royals stopper in the bullpen. But the Royals acquired John Schreiber to be an important piece of this bullpen from the Boston Red Sox before the season. He's been on the IL, and you don't have to look back too far to see when he was a really effective reliever. In 2022, he had a 2.22 ERA and a .98 whip in 65 innings. Last year wasn't as good. He had a 3.86 ERA, but still 53 strikeouts in 46 innings. This year, he started off really well. Then he struggled. Then he went on the IL. If they can get good production out of John Schreiber, and you add that to what we're seeing right now from Lucas Erceg, Chris Bubich, even though he gave up a run, they're starting to trust him in high-leverage situations, and he's still coming back from his injury to where he could pitch more often, hopefully, down the stretch. But you like what you've seen from him so far. And then, this is just a fingers crossed, if Hunter Harvey can come back from his back issues off the IL, then we're talking about a bullpen that could help carry the Royals into the postseason because they have the starting rotation to do it. And they have the star power in the lineup with Bobby Witt Jr. And look, Salvi's got 85 ribbies. Salvi's on his way to driving in 100 runs again. When people keep wanting to start shoveling dirt on his career, he's 34 years old, here comes the dip. Well, he's got 85 ribbies. And
Thank you, my friend.
Last night he had 3. So I'll put my money on Salvi to have a big final stretch to get the Royals back in the playoffs. All right? Another important thing from last night. Paul DeYoung. That was kind of the afterthought of the trade deadline, wasn't it? Lucas Erceg was the headliner, and he's going to keep being the headliner, probably for 5 years now, because that's how long they got control of him. Chef's kiss. But Paul DeYoung was languishing with the Chicago White Sox. Paul DeYoung was in baseball purgatory with the Chicago White Sox. Is he a great hitter? No. Does he have power? Yes. Has he been on winning baseball teams? Yes. Has he had stretches where he's been red hot? Yes. And so the Royals said, screw it. We'll give up an older arm in lower A to pick up a veteran who's got some pop off the bench. All right.
Bring Powell.
Since the Royals acquired Paul DeYoung, he's appeared in 13 games, 38 at-bats, 12 hits, couple of doubles, 3 home runs, 8 ribbies. He's hit .316 with .372 on base and a .605 slug. And so in limited time, limited opportunities, he has a .977 OPS in a Kansas City Royals uniform. And the Royals need every bit of help they can get in the lineup to support Bobby Witt Jr. and Salvi and Vinny and the guys that have been carrying the load all season long. And so don't forget that trade. Is he going to keep that up? I don't know. But like you're not asking him to keep it up for a whole season. You're not asking him to keep it up for the next year or two. You're asking him to produce down the stretch for a few weeks. Is that possible? Well, yes, because he's doing it right now. And look, he does. He's got 21 bombs on the year. White Sox didn't want him. He walked across the diamond from one clubhouse to the other, joined the Royals, and all of a sudden entered the playoffs. Do you think that rejuvenated his season? Do you think he's? I mean, look, they're all professionals, right? That's what the story is with all the baseball players and all the professional athletes. They're professionals. They're going to go out there and grind every day. But I'm going to tell you that it's probably easier to go out there and be motivated and to grind when you're playing for the Royals right now than it is for the train wreck that the Chicago White Sox are. That's just human nature. And it looks like this has injected some life into his season, and he has injected some life into the Royals season and added some much-needed offense. So, I mean, wow. Wow. Look where the Royals are right now. Everything's falling into place. And who they got going tonight? Cole Reagans. Has he been good? Last couple of times out against big-time competition, the Boston Red Sox and the Minnesota Twins. What has he done? 6 1/3 innings, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts against Boston. And what was that to do? To avoid a sweep. And then he pitches at Minnesota. Remember that? In the afternoon, what was that to do? To avoid a sweep. And how important are those 2 starts now when you look back at them? Huge. Last time out against Minnesota, when Minnesota was hitting the cover off the baseball, 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, no walks, 8 strikeouts. He's been so good now that at least he's mentioned as a top 5 guy in the AL Cy Young race right now, along with Lugo. 147 innings, 174 strikeouts. His ERA is down to 3.18. His whip's down to 1.15. He's been terrific. And now you roll him, and that's the great thing about this rotation. You never feel bad. Nate looks like he feels bad about things, but you never feel bad. Oh God, this guy's starting tonight. No. How do you feel when Lugo's starting? Pretty good. How do you feel when Waka's starting? Really good. How do you feel when Brady Singer's starting? Okay. All right, let's go. Even like Michael Lorenzo, like, all right, go out and give me 5 innings and 1 run. And then how do you feel when Cole Reagans start? Fantastic, wonderful, excited, ready to bet the over and strikeouts. What is it? It was 6.5 last time. I bet you, well, it's got to be more, doesn't it? What is it? 7.5, 7? I hope it's 6.5 right now. And then we can all jump on it together as a family. But let me tell you, this is, and man, I know we're getting ready to hit this last preseason game, and that's Thursday night, and then college football starts, and then the Chiefs start, but the Royals have demanded our attention. The Royals have grabbed us by the shoulders and said, look at us, watch what we're doing, and we are. And it's wonderful. So, I mean, just be excited. This is fantastic. And you look at what the Royals starting pitchers have done this last time through the rotation. As I mentioned, Reagan, 7 innings, 1 run. Lorenzen, 5 2/3 innings, 1 run. Waka, 6 innings, no runs. Singer, 6 innings, no runs. Lugo, 7 innings, 2 runs. Wow. They've won 5 straight. They've got 70 wins. 15 games over 500. It's on. How about that, Nate?
It's incredibly exciting. And the team is, we wondered if they would be able to keep up the pace on what they did the first half of the season. They're better in the second half of the season than they were in the first. They were 7 games over 500 the whole first half of the season. They're already 8 games over 500 the second half. And the job that J.J. Piccolo has done at the trade deadline, I feel like we were talking when the trades happened that, hey, pretty good. Pretty good. Considering what he had, considering the resources, he did pretty well. Maybe not any like grand slam home runs, but he addressed the areas that they needed to address. But Paul DeJong right now, like you said, I don't know how realistic it is to expect him to keep up what he's doing for the rest of the season. But even just this stretch right here, we wondered if they would be able to get a bat that could help the team just because he didn't seem to have much left to trade. And he's been incredible. That kind of boost, I wonder where the Royals would be right now. And like you said, to take some of the pressure off of the guys that have been, carrying the offense all season long, just incredible. I mean, I just feel like the job that J.J. Piccolo has done from the offseason, rebuilding that starting rotation, and then, not wasting the fact that this team is having a good year and going out and doing what he could to address the two biggest areas of need that they had, the bullpen and finding a bat, finding somebody that could help, that bottom of the order be a little more potent. It's been incredible. And now, I don't know about you guys, a week or two ago, I didn't really focus too much on the division. It just kind of seemed like Cleveland was.
No, it's on now.
It is very much in play. Very much in play. It's exciting.
Everything's in play.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Every single thing's in play right now. All of it. All of it, man. It's wild. And the Royals had the starting pitching to do it. And hopefully the bullpen's coming together.
Yeah.
And they have the bullpen to do it. And they got the MVP candidate to do it.
And they got the leader.
The leader and the captain to do it,
And they got a bunch of guys that seem to embrace their roles right now. They're enjoying being on this team. I mean, how could you not enjoy it when you're winning? Everybody likes being there.
It'd be weird if you didn't enjoy being on this team.
It would be weird.
I don't like this. Like if Paul DeJong said, I wish I was on the White Sox.
Right.
That'd be stupid. But I can't speak.
But there are some teams that win
Sure.
that have bad chemistry. They just win because they got the talent. But this team, the guys that are not superstars on the team still seem to have great attitudes.
Who's got the best record in the American League?
I would guess the Yankees.
Yep. Royals are 3 games behind them.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. So when I say everything's in play, and I'm not sitting here telling you, well, they're going to get the number 1 seed, but everything's in play. They're 3 games out. Yeah. They're 2.5 games out of the division lead. They're 3 games out of the best record in the AL.
And they have momentum. They're playing better. They're not holding on right now.
They're closer to the 1 seed than they are to the 7 seed as far as record. $39 and $25 at home, by the way, and above 500 on the road. Well, you ain't gonna say nothing in there? Right.
That's what I got to say. Over under 6.5 on strikeouts today.
Still?
Very good. Still. Free money, Kansas City. Free money. So.
Is it?
Yeah. I think so.
Are you going to or not?
Yeah.
Before the 7 o'clock hour.
Okay.
I want it done. And I'm going to do it too.
You want timestamps?
Yeah. Well, it might change. You never know.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I feel like that's a good bet against the Angels.
Yeah. He's come through several times for me this year.
No, the Cole Reagans
over
on strikeouts has been a good constant.
Little cheat code.
Right.
To get you right.
A nice little pat on the ass when you need it. All right, so the Royals are on fire. Real quick before we break, let's play Andy Reid. As just in case you're wondering about Thursday, maybe you got some tickets to go out there and see preseason game number 3. If you remember from past years, hey, preseason game number 3 is a big one. Not anymore. It's the one that at some point soon will go away.
Well, if Todd Haley was coaching his team, everybody would be starting.
Right. Mahomes would be playing 4 quarters.
Tony Moyaki's like, you son of a bitch.
Right. Here's Andy Reid answering the question about playing time for Thursday night.
I'll probably sit the starters the way it looks right now. And and we'll have the other guys get out there and play. So we'll just see how that goes rep-wise.
Yeah, do you have a sense whether some of the guys who have been injured are going to be ready to go when you guys get started against Baltimore? Guys like Chris Jones, Tony.
I think all those guys. Yeah, I think all those guys will be. Right, the only one in question would probably be Hollywood.
Juwan Taylor.
Yeah.
Tooney, Juwan Taylor, Chris Jones. Yeah. Hollywood, man. But that's fine. But if you go out there on Thursday, be sure to get a roster, because you may not recognize many of the players will be running around on the field at Arrowhead Stadium. So just have your roster ready, and you can learn some new names and enjoy the sport of football, as only the third preseason game can provide you the opportunity to. So
I'm going to go to the game, I think.
Are you?
Yeah. Some friends offer us suite tickets.
Is that right?
Why not?
Well, there you go.
You know?
That's a way to
Enjoy
go.
some time in the suite. See some guys.
You'll see some guys. You'll see some guys. That's a true statement. If you go to the game on Thursday, you will see some guys.
There you go.
All right.
That's all I want to see.
That's all you'll see. Some guys. All right. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to play some clips from Bill Belichick talking about the Chiefs on the Pat McAfee show. And did you see this big Fanatics Fest that went on in New York with all these celebrities and superstars and superstar athletes and stars of the WWE? It was like amazing. All these panels and all this hell was breaking loose. And so part of it, Stephen A. Smith sat down and did an interview with Tom Brady in front of a whole bunch of people. And then the topics came up of best quarterbacks in the league and also Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And so let's hear what Bill Belichick and Tom Brady from their retirement homes had to say about the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
It looked to me like they wanted to play worthy with Mahomes, and Mahomes gave him a bunch of targets. Got him on that first flag route, and then an under route. They ran a reverse to him, things like that. So it looked like it was let's get some timing with the receivers, with Rice, with Worthy, Kelsey for a little while in there, and I think that was for the quarterback and receivers just to get work under game conditions, not just practice. And so I think that was the purpose of it. Then, Andy let, the rest of the guys play throughout the game. But I thought offensively, it looks like it's just going to be an effort to get the young guys, timing the pass so they're ready to go early against Baltimore. Obviously, the big opener there. I think the bigger issues are going to be on defense. They couldn't turn the ball over. But look, they played very, very well in the playoffs, so that's where it counts, and that's the most important thing. But overall, as a team, run defense, turnovers, I think that's an area that they're going to want to improve in. And I just think it's going to be tough this year. They're a good team, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I just think this third year, for it all to fall into place 3 years in a row is tough. I think if anybody can do it, it's probably Kansas City, but it won't be easy. It won't be easy. They'll have I'm not sure how tough the AFC West is going to be, but I think in the end, they're going to have some tough opponents, through the course of the season. And
quarterbacks in the National Football League right now according to Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes being number one. Give me 2, 3, 4, 5.
So I think consistently, well, the guys that I see, I see Josh Allen as someone who's always impresses me as a player. I see Lamar Jackson, who always impresses me as a player. Some different guys probably have different moments, but Joe Burrow is very impressive the way he throws the ball to his team. Again, another guy who's got a great connection with his teammates. And then I think I'll leave it to those four. I'm gonna throw Aaron Rodgers in there. Of course. One of the greatest skill players I've seen with the feet. I'm gonna throw him in there. The man knows the game inside out. I got it. Top 5 quarterbacks in the net.
Patrick Mahomes in 6 years, 6 AFC championship games, 4 Super Bowl appearances, 3 Super Bowl titles, 3 Super Bowl MVPs. We look at him and we say he's great. I don't know if I've heard anyone ask this question of a quarterback. A lot of times when we look at greatness today, we compare them to generations. What would they have been if they had played in a different generation? When you look at somebody like a Mahomes, what would he have been in the era of football?
Yeah, I think he'd be better. And I'm saying he's already great. I mean, believe me, he's, in my opinion, the best quarterback in the NFL. And his why? I could talk about his physicals because you know why? When I look at him and I see why he's great, I see the way that he's endeared himself to his teammates. I see the joy they have when they're out there playing together. So I love when I see his rapport with his teammates, with his coaches, how he communicates after the game. I'm listening to the press conferences as much as I'm watching him throw a tight spiral. Because that's ultimately what that position is.
Shout out and RIP to Viserion. 7 years ago today, the Night King killed Viserion with the javelin, if you remember.
I remember that.
You remember?
Yeah. Monumental.
Yeah. Right. Shocking moment.
It was a sad moment.
Right. Well, right. You know.
And then the walkers ended up with a dragon.
Like, you're like, how are you gonna beat this guy?
That dragon destroyed the wall.
Right.
Spoiler alert.
Well, I feel like people.
Yes, I know.
When Jon Snow was staring down the Night King, you're thinking,
yeah,
what's gonna happen here? And now Jon Snow's on Industry, so.
Is that a good show?
Wonderful show, but don't ever watch it within any vicinity of your children.
Okay.
Not even, you know, I would
watch
say
it on the airplane.
I would say put them to bed, but I'm not even sure they should be in the house when that show's on.
I just started it.
I want you to fast forward to the first episode of season 3 that Davies. Lebo excitedly texted me, what was it? Have you watched Industry yet? After the first episode came out. And I was like, no, why? I can't remember how he phrased it. But he put it in a way where I knew that I was going to have to prepare myself for the first episode. And boy, did Lebo deliver. So, you know, this guy's an empty nester. He watches everything right when it comes out. All right, here's some interesting stuff that we were going to play for you, or we will play for you. This is at this is with Stephen A. Smith and Tom Brady at this. What the hell's the name of it? Fanatics? You know what I'm talking? You guys both acted like you didn't know what I was talking about.
I did.
This Fanatics. I know it's not the Fanatics Festival.
I don't know. I don't know about this thing. It's a
Fanatics Fest. It is Fanatics Fest. But it's over. Go look at the website. It was August 16th through 18th in New York. And all these, I mean, 100 of the top athletes from every sport, and actors, and just all everybody was there. They're doing panels, and people were standing in line for hours. That thing set up where you could do a walk out to like you're wrestling in the WWE, like their whole set. Did you see that, Jake?
In a ring walk?
He has no idea what I'm talking about.
I can't believe I don't know anything about this, but I can.
Google Fanatics Fest.
I'm looking it up right now.
That's all I heard about like the whole weekend. I'm like, where is this? Are they just gonna do this? What in God's name is this man doing back there? Anyway, are they just gonna do this in New York? Are they gonna travel around and do this? Is this like, I don't know. Anyway, one of the things I had here was Stephen A. Smith interviewing Tom Brady in front of all these people. And so here is Stephen A. Smith talking with Tom Brady as Brady ranks his top 5 quarterbacks currently in the NFL.
Top 5 quarterbacks in the National Football League right now, according to Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes being number 1. Give me 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I think consistently, the guys that I see Josh Allen as someone who's always impresses me as a player. I see Lamar Jackson, who always impresses me as a player. Some different guys probably have different moments, but Joe Burrow is very impressive the way he goes along with his team. Again, another guy who's got a great connection with his teammates. And then I think I'll leave it to those 4. I'm gonna throw Aaron Rodgers in there. Of course. One of the greatest skill passes I've ever seen. I'm gonna throw him in there. The man knows the game inside out.
Okay, so Tom Brady couldn't think of number 5. And if you didn't hear, it was Patrick Mahomes, then Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and then Stephen A. Smith bailed him out and said Aaron Rodgers. Oh, okay, great. But that's, I mean, I've told you I've got Mahomes 1, Josh Allen 2. And I don't, as long as it's not the playoffs, Lamar 3, Burrow 4. But I wouldn't argue if someone said Burrow 2. I wouldn't argue with anyone that's. You know what? No, I feel pretty strongly about Josh Allen number 2. I'll roll with Mahomes 1, Josh Allen 2, and then after that, go ahead, make your arguments. I'm not dead set on anyone. You have any big disagreements with anything what Brady said?
No, I don't have any big disagreements with what he said. Aaron Rodgers, number 5 at this stage.
Yeah,
that's
whatever.
I disagree with that, but that was Stephen A. that said that.
Right.
So no, I don't have any disagreements with that.
But C.J. Stroud, Herbert, Dak Prescott. I don't. That's why, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is 5, but there's nobody else. Oh, damn it, they didn't mention this guy. Whatever.
I think maybe Matt Stafford I would put.
Maybe. Okay.
But like you said, I feel like there's just a tier of guys that you could throw into a bag, that are all good quarterbacks, but I don't know if I'd put them in the top 5.
Yeah, 5 through 10 are you can pretty much. I think that's the same level. You put Jordan Love, Herbert, Stafford, Stroud. You can make an argument for any of those guys.
If I see another season of Jordan Love like last year, then I'll put him at number 5, maybe number 4. Who knows?
Yeah. Right. I think that's because Jalen Hurts would have been top 5 after the previous season, right? And so can you back it up? Can you do it year after year? I think that's one of the things you want to see with some of these guys. And that's the one thing about Burrow, too, is can you stay healthy?
Nope. Here is Tom Brady with Stephen A. Smith talking about Patrick Mahomes and also who the biggest threats to the Chiefs' pursuit of a three-peat will be.
Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes in 6 years, 6 AFC championship games, 4 Super Bowl appearances, 3 Super Bowl titles, 3 Super Bowl MVPs. We look at him and we say he's great. I don't know if I've heard anyone ask this question of a quarterback. A lot of times when we look at greatness today, we compare them to generations. What would they have been if they had played in a different generation? When you look at somebody like a Mahomes, for example, what would he have been in the era of football you just praised?
Yeah, I think he would be better. And I'm saying he's already great.
He's already great.
I mean, believe me, he's, in my opinion, the best quarterback in the NFL. And why? I could talk about his physicals because, you know why? When I look at him and I see why he's great, I see the way that he's endeared himself to his teammates. I see the joy they have when they're out there playing together. So I love when I see his rapport with his teammates, with his coaches, how he communicates after the game. I'm listening to the press conferences as much as I'm watching him throw a tight spiral, because that's ultimately what that position is about. Yeah, it's about your ability to be physically gifted and run and throw on the move and drop his arm angle and read coverages and throw the ball deep. It's also about how the message you're creating every day to your fans, to your teammates, to your coaches, how you present yourself on the field, off the field, how you handle wins and losses. That, to me, is just as important in the development of a player. And I think the challenge that I see with him as he gets older, he's not as young as he was, and can he relate to the young players? I believe he will. He's now had a degree of success. Does that continue to motivate him? That's going to be up to him. There's going to be a lot of things that now happen in his life, with his children, and as he grows that are probably external from football. How does he deal with those? I believe he's got a good foundation to deal with those.
The number one threat to the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC is whom?
I would say it's, man, all those teams are going to be tough. I think it's still the Bills or the Bengals, just because I think the quarterback play.
The Bills and the Bengals more than the Ravens?
They're right up there.
Okay.
But I would say, you know, and they're exceptional. The Ravens have to, I think, be more successful in the postseason for me to feel like, okay, you know, they're right there. The Bengals have made it to the Super Bowl. Okay. The Bills have been in championship games.
That's right.
So.
He's got a 3-1 record against Patrick Mahomes. Got to give him credit where credit is due. The number one threat to the Chiefs in the entire NFL.
I think it's probably still the 49ers and the Packers, I think, are going to be a great team. And you know what? I think the Rams are going to be a good team this year, too. Very good offense, receiving core. They lost Aaron Donald. Nobody can replace him. That guy's first ballot Hall of Famer. But they've drafted really well. They got a really underrated defense. That's going to be a team to watch, too.
So there's Tom Brady singing the praises of Patrick Mahomes and how great he is, and giving his thoughts on who the, and no surprise there, you know, Bills, Bengals in the AFC, 49ers, Packers in the NFC. But I thought interesting comments about Patrick Mahomes and what he does off the field and how he presents himself not only to the fans but to the teammates and carries himself, and the confidence that he's able to deliver to his teammates, and the leadership that he shows not only as a player but as a guy that's the face of that team and the face of the NFL. We will take a break. Back after this on WHB. All right, before we hear what Bill Belichick had to say about the Chiefs on the Pat McAfee show, anything that jumped out to you about what Tom Brady said about the Chiefs or Patrick Mahomes?
Other than I just love it all. You know, the fact that...
Well, Mr. Nate Lovall.
Yeah. He's, you know, I think it's all true. Like, the only thing that's going to determine whether or not Mahomes passes Brady is if he just, how long he wants to do it.
Jake?
I think that...
Can you fix the white balance, please?
I'm trying my ass off.
Come on, man.
Thank you.
Look, let's say... This is,
Let me
look at that camera.
That looks good.
Yeah, it looks real good.
That looks good.
Hey.
I like the way that looks.
Yeah.
Orange looks good on you.
Yeah. I think that...
Looks like a former offensive lineman urinated on you.
Wow.
By the way.
Hey, it's the Ambien.
Did you see his statement, by the way?
It's the Ambien. Yeah, you sent it to me.
Well, I send you a lot of things. You know, you said that to me?
Right. I think how long he wants to do it, and what does it look like when Andy Reid hangs it up? I mean...
Yeah, that's fair. But I feel like...
He's not world talent, but I think the combination, like, you know, I think the combination is why it's maybe the greatest ever. Now, could he win one or two without him? I imagine. I would never put anything past Patrick Mahomes. But I think it does make a difference.
All right, let's hear, speaking of some of the greatest ever, one of the greatest coaches of all time, Bill Belichick, was on Pat McAfee show, and the topic of the Chiefs came up. Let's hear what Bill Belichick had to say.
We were just talking about the Kansas City Chiefs and obviously the Patrick Mahomes behind-the-back play that they're saying was not a called play. It was improvised. It was really the only way for me to get the ball to Travis, who ran the wrong route. We all have heard about the Travis routes and how that whole thing works. What are your thoughts on this Kansas City Chiefs team being able to sustain success when the entire world is not only kind of hoping you fail, but looking for you to fail? How do you continue to get better, and how do you continue to drive? And what do you think about this particular group with Andy Reid leading the way?
Yeah, you know, I think that's a really interesting question, Pat. Let's see. Let's start on offense. It looked to me like they wanted to play worthy with Mahomes, and Mahomes gave him a bunch of targets. Got him on that first flag route, and then an under route. They ran a reverse to him, things like that. So it looked like it was let's get some timing with the receivers, with Rice, with Worthy. Kelsey for a little while in there, and I think that was for the quarterback and receivers just to get work under game conditions, not just practice. And so I think that was the purpose of it. Then Andy let the rest of the guys play throughout the game. But I thought offensively, it looks like it's just going to be an effort to get the young guys timing with Pat so they're ready to go early against Baltimore. Obviously they have the big opener there. I think the bigger issues are going to be on defense. They couldn't turn the ball over. Look, they played very well in the playoffs, so that's where it counts, and that's the most important thing. But overall, as a team, run defense, turnovers, I think that's an area that they're going to want to improve in. And I just think it's going to be tough this year. They're a good team. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I just think this third year, for it all to fall into place 3 years in a row is tough. I think if anybody can do it, it's probably Kansas City, but it won't be easy. It won't be easy. They'll have I'm not sure how tough the AFC West is going to be, but I think in the end, they're going to have some tough opponents, through the course of the season and the playoffs. But, Andy will have them ready to go, and I think they'll maybe score more than they did last year. We'll see if they're, we'll see if they can hold up defensively. I lost a couple good coverage players, obviously Snead. We'll see how all that comes together.
Losing Snead. Losing depth. Snead obviously was a frontline player, a blue chip player. But like losing Willie Gay, right? When Willie Gay was in the lineup or when he went out with injury, you had Drew Tranquil, right? You had Tranquil, you had Gay, and you had Bolton.
Yeah.
Now that luxury's gone. When Brian Cook got hurt, an unsung guy from that defense, Mike Edwards stepped up. How many times did he make big plays last year?
A lot.
Just quality depth there that that they have to replace with youth, with inexperienced guys. But there's gonna be it's hard to replace Snead. That's going to be the most difficult part. But maybe the defense isn't as good, but the offense is going to be better.
Yeah, I think that's all spot on. I actually am quite as we get closer to the season, I'm becoming a little more nervous about the loss of Snead. He was just a tremendous player, and he could do everything. I don't think that means that all of a sudden they have a bad secondary. They still have some good players there, but I don't think they have somebody that's as good as him to replace him. We've spent a lot of time talking about, they can just find corners anywhere. They can find decent corners anywhere, but I don't know that they can replace him. But like you said, I think the offense is going to be better. I think they got a left tackle who's special. I think they've got more weapons at wide receiver, especially when Hollywood Brown comes back. So, and I think they've got another running back that might be a weapon.
The combination of Shamari Connor and Jaden Hicks will leave you feeling very satisfied.
I love that.
So,
and I like Cochran at linebacker, by the way. No?
Yeah, no, yeah. I just...
I bet you do.
Yeah.
I bet you do.
I just like how the sentence started.
You know what I like?
Yeah.
Cochran.
Well, they do.
Yeah.
They love him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, you
can insert Cochran into that lineup whenever you want.
But being able to add Tranquil and Mike Edwards at the value that they did in free agency, and that was an embarrassment of riches to be able to have those type of veterans to step in when they had injuries in the starting lineup. Then Drew Tranquil got in, and all of a sudden, Drew Tranquil's a stud. We got to play him more. Mike Edwards is a stud. We got to play him more. And so now, if because there's injuries, and also Nick Allegretti. Who's going to step in for Nick Allegretti, because that was an embarrassment of riches. They had a starting quality offensive lineman sitting on the bench ready to step in when Joe Tooney got hurt. Think about that. All those guys went on to start other places. So, really interesting to see how they're going to bounce back from that tough stretch that saw them kick everyone's ass and win the Super Bowl. So,
well, we always said they just need a mediocre defense to win the Super Bowl. Last year, they had much better than a mediocre defense. They had one of the best defenses in the NFL. So if they take a little bit of a step back, if the offense takes a step forward, they should still be right there. And it will be tough. He's right. I mean, just remember how tough it was last year.
That defense kicked people in the ass.
Yeah.
In the playoffs.
People were jumping off the bandwagon in December. That's how tough it was last year. It's not going to be easy.
Jake's pointing at you from behind. Think about what that defense did to the Dolphins, the Bills, the Ravens, and the 49ers.
Amazing.
That defense still doesn't get enough credit for what it did. They kicked ass. Can they do it again this year? I say yes. Come on, let's go. Jamie Bloom is here. You leaving, Nate?
I'm out of here.
Wow, I didn't know you didn't like Bloom that much. Whatever.
Well, it is what it is.
All right, hurry up and get out of here before he gets in here. I don't want any awkward moments on Sports Radio 810 WHB.